Are you ready for my top 12 fantasy football QBs heading into 2019? Okay, so Tyreek Hill is back in the news. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last week, you know that there's some risk when you talk about Patrick Mahomes or Tyreek Hill heading into 2019. As for Hill, play this with both caution and make sure you're not overreacting. But we have to look at how this impacts all the players around Hill. So because we're talking about top 10 QBs and, top 12 QBs heading into 2019 fantasy football, right now, Tyreek Hill is very relevant. Now, Patrick Mahomes, to me, is still by far the number one QB heading into 2019 fantasy football. If Pat Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill for half a season, I still rank him by far the number one QB with a potential of 40 TD passes regardless of if Hill's even there all year. Then you mix in the fact that he is 5 to even 7 or 8 TD capable on the ground. You're talking about, even if he's limited to 40 TD passes, you're talking about a 47, 48 total TD QB in 2019 fantasy football. The part of this that people need to pay the most attention to is how far Pat Mahomes drops down ADP-wise based on this Tyreek Hill buzz. Now, if a suspension gets handed down, I think Pat Mahomes could fall to the very, very end of the fourth round, if not the top of the fifth. Let's be cautious and say that he won't fall out of the end of the fourth. But even with just the buzz, or let's say we had the news that it was going to be a 6 to 8 game suspension that Hill was looking at, Mahomes is going to fall into the fourth round, at least the top of the fourth round, heading into upcoming fantasy football 2019 drafts. Is Mahomes worth a fourth round pick even if he loses, let's say, Hill for the entire season? Absolutely. I both love and it drives me nuts when people talk about taking a QB early and how it's a big mistake in fantasy football. If anybody tells you that it's a mistake, that you're going to set yourself up to lose because you're drafting a QB early, and when I say early, I'm talking about the fourth round, or if Mahomes had Hill for 16 games, Mahomes falling to the third round, that would be considered early and crazy to a lot of people. But let's talk about Mahomes now. I think he will easily fall into the top of the fourth given all the negativity surrounding Mahomes in the bottom of the third when Hill was supposed to play 16 games. So locking our thinking into a fourth round Pat Mahomes, you're going to have people tell you taking Pat Mahomes in the top of the fourth is a recipe to lose your league. Anybody giving you that kind of advice is regurgitating the same information over and over and over, that taking a QB early is bad, that the fourth QB outscores the 12th QB by only 5-10 points. People will spit out stats that in some cases are accurate, but those stats are irrelevant. What matters is what you project for a player. What somebody's really telling you is they don't believe that Pat Mahomes will repeat or even throw for 40 TDs and run for 5, 6, 7 TDs to become a 47, 48 total TD player. That's what they're telling you. How the fourth QB relates to the 12th QB, that's irrelevant. Completely 100% irrelevant. Let me clarify. I am not saying that waiting on a QB is a bad strategy. What I'm saying is people suggesting that taking a QB early in that fourth, or if Mahomes had Hill all year, late third, people saying that that is a bad approach or a wrong approach, that's the bad advice right there. Everybody has their own strategy, and some strategies play to the strengths of a fantasy owner better than others. Some people can land sleeper running backs time and time and time again. That's my strength. So a zero running back approach or wide receiver, Pat Mahomes, that's a strategy that plays to my strength. It's not a strategy that a lot of people would deploy. And I get that. I respect that. And there's nothing wrong with someone taking a more conservative, balanced, tier-based approach. That's not for me. I'm the guy that likes to land the next James Conner. I'm the guy that likes to draft and redraft a grip of rookie running backs, and then having that running back stable that I shouldn't have when I've loaded up on wide receiver, Pat Mahomes in the fourth round. That's my style. It's not everybody's style. To suggest that it's wrong to try a different approach, to suggest it's wrong to wait on a QB, that would be wrong. What matters is what you do with that player you draft where the other player is taking their QB. So if you're taking a Pat Mahomes in the fourth round, and they're taking a Leonard Fournette, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, insert the player that you think fits this approach best. And then they're taking their QB in the fifth or sixth round. And I'll toss out a better QB than you'll probably even get. Let's say the person taking Fournette in the fourth round gets an Andrew Luck or Drew Brees. Pairing Fournette in the fourth, Brees or Luck, what am I looking at if I'm drafting Mahomes in the fourth? I get Mahomes in the fourth. where they got Fournette or Cooks or Landry. All I got to do is land my 6th round player. If I get Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and if this is a redraft, a rookie running back that hits a home run, a Robert Woods, give me a break. Rodgers is cemented into the 4th round with his ADP with Pat Mahomes on his way to the 4th round. There is no bigger steal than Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers in the 4th round in fantasy football 2019. You can argue it with your stats and regurgitate the same thing over and over and over, or you can look at the fact that last year's stats do not matter. What matters is what you project, and if you're right. Pat Mahomes, the biggest steal in 2019 if he falls into your 4th round. So Pat Mahomes is my number 1 ranked QB heading into 2019. I have A-Rod locked into my number 2 spot. I'm not gonna lie, I wavered a little bit, and you'll find out who my number 3 is in the next video. But so many people are assuming Aaron Rodgers will not return to his 40 TD capability, and I think that's a huge mistake. This Green Bay coaching staff is going to get back to passing the ball. They're going to run the ball a lot more effectively, and hopefully through Aaron Jones, which will keep defenses honest. And at 4th round value, a disappointing season is built into that cost. But if Aaron Rodgers returns to 40 TD potential, you win your league. There are no bigger steals in 2019 fantasy football than Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes in the 4th round in 2019. Baker, touchdown maker, the 3rd quarterback to take in 2019. Call me crazy, call me what you want, but Baker, touchdown maker is in my top 3 QBs for 2019 fantasy football. He makes a case for being as good as Aaron Rodgers in terms of upside appeal, all the weapons around him. Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, probably the best running back tandem in the NFL with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Duke Johnson, if they suffer injury anywhere, they will not miss a beat unless it's Baker Mayfield that gets hurt. I'm excited about this aggressive attack. My tempered expectations are 40 total touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. 40. That is my curbed expectation. This is a Super Bowl contending team in 2019. They're going to live inside the red zone. I'm excited about the Cleveland Browns in 2019. You should be too. My number 4 fantasy quarterback for 2019, Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck had a bounce-back year in 2018. 39 passing touchdowns and 15 interceptions. I think it's safe to say that Andrew Luck is back. After missing all of 2019 with the shoulder, he put all the doubting to rest. He started all 16 games in 2018. He set career highs in touchdowns and completion percentage, and they improved that offensive line a ton, making him one of the hardest QBs to sack in 2018. Great for a guy trying to avoid hurting that shoulder. He's only 29, so in redraft or dynasty, I think you're talking about ranking him about the same place, but I think a good spot, a good safe place to put him is right around number 4 overall. Watson, Luck, I think are kind of interchangeable. My number 5 QB for 2019 fantasy football, Deshaun Watson. The guy was going crazy during his rookie year, on a tear, looking like the best quarterback in the league. It wasn't just 1 or 2 games. I mean, through week 6, he was on fire. Then he suffered the torn ACL. While he didn't bounce back as quickly as I hoped, he did finish with 41-65 through the air. He did have 26 passing touchdowns, and he still ran for 551 yards, even though he was coming back from injury, and he had 5 TDs on the ground. So 31 total TDs, not a bad year for a guy coming back from injury, still getting his feet wet in the NFL. I see no reason he can't run for 600 yards and 6 to 7 touchdowns on the ground and score at least 31, 32 passing touchdowns. I know those numbers are high, but I have high expectations for this offense, and I think they're going to take that next step in 2019. And they may even draft a big name running back, which will change the dynamic of this offense and make it harder to contain every single aspect of the offense. Deshaun Watson, one of the most exciting running quarterbacks in 2019.
Sexy thing. I can't wait for my fantasy draft. Woo! I'm feeling sexy.
Baker, touchdown maker.